Hello and welcome back together to my weekend update on the financial markets. My name is Jens and today I will cover with you the S&P 500 index, US oil, gold and Bitcoin on the weekly, daily and 4-hour time frame so that you know what to do in the markets the week ahead. Let's start directly with the S&P 500 at the weekly time frame. Here at the weekly time frame on the S&P 500 index, you can see that we are still in an uptrend. The only problem with this is that we have here a MACD divergence to price. So MACD is making lower highs while price is making higher highs. That was, for example, the case here back in the days where we had also price rising, MACD declining, and then what followed was a correction, a massive one. I don't think that the correction will be that massive in this case, but we had a nice pullback and maybe that's enough to reset sentiment. Or we see the breakout to the downside, but more to that on the lower time frames. At the daily time frame, you can see this white solid uptrend line. That one got already broken to the downside. We went from higher highs and higher lows to lower lows and lower highs and continued that to the downside. Now we have a MACD cross to the upside, which is normally a bullish sign, and we have left this secondary downtrend line to the upside on last Friday. That could be an early sign for a trend change, but let's see. Will be sure about that if we bypass the last highs here, and then you could argue that is a higher high and probably the beginning of a new uptrend. That will be confirmed if we see a higher low and then followed by a break again to the upside. If we drop down to the 4-hour time frame, I can explain it in more detail and throw it also inside. My expectancy is that either we get a pullback and then a breakthrough, then I would be on board with 1% at risk, or we see my entry get triggered directly, then we see a huge pullback and then a break to the upside again. In this case, I would probably add another % risk on this trade because then it's pretty much confirmed that we have a new weekly impulse to the upside. Yeah, my let's zoom a little bit out here. My stop loss level would be below these two lows here, and this one from the uptrend. I think that's a good protection zone where price should find support and then starts rising again. If we see that one getting broken to the downside, I think the uptrend is not there yet and we have to see a more correction before a new impulse to the upside. The technical correct stop loss would be this low here from the complete movement, but therefore my risk reward ratio would be worse. So yeah, I go with that, a little bit more risky, but it can be still a good trade in my view. You have to decide by yourself. My take profit target would be around 6,650 points in the index, and I measure that out with the Fibonacci tool from the low to the high of the movement, and then you get these Fibonacci retracements. They act as support zones if price pulls back. We nearly tested the 0.382 Fibonacci retracement level, which is a good retracement if you want to trade price following or trend following strategies. So we are an uptrend, so we follow to the upside, and that could be the setback, and then we trade the outbreak to the upside again in the hope that the uptrend will continue. And yeah, the take profit is below a probable resistance area. Also, getting out of this Fibonacci tool here, maybe I will take there a slight profit of this overall position if I'm risking in the end 2% on my account balance or nearly $2,000. Then I could imagine that I will take some profits here from the table and the rest I will let run completely to the upside and take there then all chips from the table. That's the bullish case. So let's hope for that. Otherwise, it can also happen that we will see a break of this orange weekly uptrend line, a retest, and then a break to the downside, and that would be bad for the overall uptrend. That would mean that this long-term uptrend is broken and that we are confronted with a massive correction, and that would be the point where I don't want to be in a long position anymore in the S&P 500 index, and maybe also switch to a short position, so profiting from falling prices to get a profit even if a long-term investment is losing in value. Yeah, I think that's it for S&P 500. Let's switch to US oil. US oil here at the weekly time frame, we can see a red solid monthly downtrend line That one got broken to the upside, and since then we are in a consolidation. First, the 200 moving average was acting as support area, then price got below it, and since then is acting as resistance. So you can see it also here, because the 200 moving average is at the moment resistance here. It was resistance back in the past, and we are getting rejected to the downside. But overall, the MACD on the weekly is crossing to the upside. We have left this pattern to the upside. This downtrend is broken to the upside. All bullish cases or signs. But if we drop to the daily time frame, we had a massive move to the upside, and maybe we need some more correction, cooling down in the price before then continuing the overall uptrend. That could been starting right now, because we have seen lower lows and lower highs, and here's the trend change where we haven't been able to make lower lows, and now we are making a higher high. So that's typically a sign of a trend change from a downtrend to an uptrend. So I want to be part by that. 1 or 2 weeks ago we had a trade running from here to there and taking some profits, but I wasn't invested heavily. It was a small profit, but that's fine, and I'm hoping to get a little bit more exposure here in this correction. If we drop down to the 4-hour time frame, you can see that we have a 4-hour uptrend line. We have been broken this 4-hour support and resistance zone to the upside, and on the short-term time frame here, the 4-hour, you can see we have a price divergence to MACD. MACD is pointing lower, so I expect price to do the same. And you could argue that we will develop here an ABC pattern to the downside. And if that one got broken to the upside, that could be a good trading opportunity for long positions. So I wait for next week that prices decline a little bit more, and think then about a long position. Let's have a look here. Where is it? Where is it? Oh yeah, long position. We place that one above the high and put the stop loss below the movement. Maybe retesting here this 4-hour uptrend line. This here would be then the entering into a long position and ride that price is higher. I don't have a take profit target yet, but we will discuss that in the next weekend update. Yeah, that's it for oil, I think. At least for the positive side. We can also lose this 4-hour uptrend line here, make a retest and break the retest to the downside. That would speak for lower prices before then probably turning again higher. But I don't think that I will trade this one, because the main downtrend is broken to the upside, and the signs are all on rising prices for the future. Short term, for sure, there can be more downside, but I will trade with the overall trend, and I would bet that that's an uptrend in the future. That's it for oil. Let's switch to gold. Yeah, gold also here at weekly looking quite well. We have passed this resistance zone, and since then we know only one way, and that's up. If we zoom a little bit in, you can see that I was drawing a Fibonacci retracement tool from the low to the high, and we haven't been able to retest 0.382 Fibonacci retracement level, which is, like said earlier, a good retracement to buy back into the market in an intact uptrend, and it would have been perfectly aligning with this weekly orange uptrend line. But the market seems to want to rise higher without testing that. If we are able to make higher highs here, that would be absolutely bullish, because normally price has to cool a little bit more down, but the buyers are dominant and they don't let price fall that far. That's a bullish sign. Because of that, I was placing already a buy order in the market that will be probably executed next week. Let's drop down to the daily time frame to see it in more detail. Here you have the daily white solid uptrend line. That one got broken to the downside. I was expecting an ABC pattern to retest this weekly uptrend line. The market hasn't done that. Indeed, it's testing right now a resistance zone, and if that one got broken to the upside, I would expect that we will also take out the all-time high and keep rising higher. If we drop down to the 4-hour time frame, you can see my trade order here. Let's zoom a little bit out, take the automatic mode out. Yeah, so you can see the full picture. So here's the resistance zone. We bounced there a couple of times, either to the upside, to the downside, to the downside. Maybe here again a little bit more to the downside, we will see. If we get a huge pullback and then a break to the upside, I will probably not only risk 0.5% of my account balance, and I would make 1% or 1.5% out of it. And then I would expect that we will see this overall uptrend continue to my take profit target slightly below the $3,000 mark. That would be historically amazing to see that number in gold. Another perspective is that we will break this small retest here to the upside, and then I'm already in with 0.5% at risk with a trade, and then we will bounce here at this broken daily white uptrend line, because I believe that, or I often have seen that these broken trend lines still have relevance after they got broken in the market in price. So I could expect that we will see a pull, then resistance here, and a pullback. And if that pullback then gets broken again to the upside, that would be a bullish sign for me. And here I would probably add another buy order and put additionally 1% into this trade and let it run to the upside. Yeah, that's the idea for the bullish case. For sure, we can also see that we get rejected here and continue lower, break this blue dotted uptrend line to the downside, make a retest and break the retest also to the upside. And that would speak for the old prediction that we will see an ABC pattern. It's not a clean ABC pattern, but it would be one then. Would be also fine for me, because then I will look for long trading opportunities around this area here. But I will keep you updated in my weekend reports as usually. So let's go last but not least to Bitcoin. Yeah, since we have started speaking about the financial markets, Bitcoin already is rising higher. We had a beautiful chart the end of last year, then a long lasting corrective phase, and then finally the breakout to the upside. And like predicted, we retested the 10-week moving average here, and that one probably is right now acting as support, and price is rising higher again. If we drop to the daily time frame, we can see this that the white solid uptrend line is still intact. We bullet out here a daily support zone where price bounced a couple of times and got rejected always higher. And we have seen last week a new low that was taking me out of my active position. It happens. And you could say that this is now the new ABC pattern, and that the downtrend line of this ABC pattern got broken to the upside, and also was taking out point B out of was taking out point B to the upside, which is bullish and normally stands for continuation of an uptrend. Also, we have seen a retest of the 0.382 Fibonacci retracement level. Like I said earlier in this episode, is a good area to buy back into the market in an intact uptrend, and I think we have to see more this year upside in Bitcoin. Also, what I want to mention here is that we can see a MACD divergence to the upside in comparison to price, which is also a bullish sign and would argue for my speaking that we will see here now the outbreak. If we drop down to the 4-hour time frame, you can see my old trade. This is here this larger trading setup. I was entering here after we have seen a break above point B, and there was a lot of momentum in it, so I was positive that maybe here we can see already the push to the upside, but then we reversed and my stop loss was taken out slightly by this new lower low. And since then we have also seen at the 4-hour here a MACD divergence, and the market started rising again, breaking this downtrend line, breaking the 4-hour resistance zone, taking out here point B of the new ABC pattern. Let's delete this little old lines here. Oh, yeah, that one we can also delete. And here you have the new ABC pattern and the break of this ABC pattern to the upside. And now I've seen here a retest, and I'm already in with 0.5% at risk. That's a small position, and I want to enlarge this position, but I wanted to get a foot into the door. Maybe we'll see a double top scenario and we reverse. And yeah, I will wait for a scenario like that. Maybe we'll get to a double top, then reverse, and then break it again to the upside. And that here would be the zone where I want to add to my position, to the long position, increase that one to get more profit on the way up. Otherwise, if this here was a fake out, and we will reverse all the way back down. I will get taken out of my trade, and I have to wait to see if we find here bottom, rise again, or decline even lower to retest this daily uptrend line. Would have what is also not bearish, and I would then look here again for a new entry to the long side. Yeah, that's my plan for Bitcoin. I hope you're all doing well next week, and you can see my update like usually next weekend. Till then, bye bye.